Hi, this is Chris from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from Political Voices Network.
It's been, I think 2017 was the last time we did a tour across the country, and my God, America's ready for it. And I'm going to offer Joe Biden to open every show with 20 minutes of crowd work. That's all. I'm ready for the Biden crowd work tour. He'll handle all the hecklers for the rest of the year.
I mean, John, that's what someone said. He was the quickest we've ever seen. Forget how old he is. I mean, the fact that he was ad-libbing, Lawrence O'Donnell was saying he's looking at the script. And he was like, he was loving it. He was loving going off script, and he just kicks their ass every time they try and heckle or do whatever. I mean, they walked into the Social Security bear trap again. He pants them on the immigration bill right at the Supreme Court's face. I mean, what were your highlights and thoughts at the time?
So many highlights. I mean, forget about president. I'm ready to have this guy host the Oscars. It was just. I mean, Republicans are now socialists because last night they were publicly owned. Do you understand? Joe Biden gave one of the greatest political speeches of the past 50 years, and Donald Trump is acting like every evil child at the Wonka Factory tour. That speech was crazy. It was Jimmy Stewart playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, directed by Rob Reiner. That speech... 81 with a stutter. He's 81. He's 81 with a... I fell asleep halfway through Dune. He's 81 with a stutter. The last 5 minutes of that speech will make you cry more than the first 5 minutes of Up.
Yeah, but let's 16. Give me. Right. Let's do the last. The last movie.
Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh my God! I mean, I think that actually did give me American President's my favorite movie. It just gave me chills. Some of it just gave me chills, John. And I think, as everybody was saying, this is where the campaign really starts. This is not if you've only been watching Newsmax or Fox News, you're like, who's this guy? Who is this guy that just kicked everyone's ass? Right?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The campaign kicked off in earnest, and he was so good off book. You mentioned last year they heckled him on entitlements, and he totally trapped them on their hypocrisy. This year they heckled him on tax cuts for the super rich, and he trapped them on their hypocrisy. Like, that's what he does that's like his free bird at these shows now. But I mean, I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was inspiring. I thought much better than Oppenheimer overall. At no point
and Barbie.
I never felt manipulated to feel sorry for the guy who built the bomb once watching that speech. And like
it was Barbenheimer. It really was. It was all the feminism of the Barbie movie.
It was everything. Yeah, although, it was all the drama and the comedy.
Katie Britt's going to get all the women back for him, don't you think?
Now.
Don't you think, John? Don't you think?
Well, okay, listen, I was live on the air last night on Sirius XM, so I didn't get to see all of Katie Britt's speech. Did she ever get a chance to talk to a manager by the end of that? Did any manager come out to speak with her? Because that lady puts the Q in Karen, can I tell you? Whew. I knew
my husband Wesley, who's totally not in the bedroom on Grindr, and my kids Segway and
Potluck.
Bam Bam. Wow,
Kleenex. That's
that was like the worst acting audition. We're out here in Hollywood, and I've never seen anything like that.
Is she okay? I mean, Katie, show me on the doll where America hurt you. I was like watching the first scene in a Lifetime movie where she loses the job before she's forced to move back to her hometown. That was the
right. It was Burning Bed Meets Not Without My Children, Ridgeway, and
I was kept watching
and
that.
Benadryl.
I was like, really, what antidepressant is this an ad for? I was trying to guess.
I'm sorry, Jody, I keep getting it wrong. Could you Google, is it Segway and Benadryl? Who are kids?
Ridgeway and Bennett?
Right. Sorry, John, I got
something
the names
like
wrong.
Kleenex and toilet paper?
The big annoying book of overprivileged white kid names.
Parkway and Boulevard?
Yeah, it was Parkway.
Yeah.
Okay. John, I'm sorry. Okay, speaking of Republican women, how much did that backfire? Elise Stefanik saying, "Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?" Oh my God! I mean, social media just exploded. Our fan Michelangelo Signorelli said Democrats must use Stefanik's words, "Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?" in an ad that simply shows the headlines, TV clips from 4 years ago today. There's the New York Times: job losses soar, U.S. virus cases top the world. I mean, John, we just got another great jobs report. They are to the point where Fox News is suggesting the books are cooked, and that Hannity said Biden had too much energy.
Too much energy. They called him Jacked Up Joe.
Yeah, Jacked Up Joe. So he must be on drugs because it was so good.
I heard Trump came up with that line, "Jacked Up Joe," while doing lines off a hooker's stomach in Mar-a-Lago last
Allegedly.
night. So that's really good. I mean, it was all about.
I'm sorry. No, I thought. I get that none of us even want to think about it. It was such a horrible period. I mean, I think of us, having to do the virtual tour, and that none of us left our house for 2 years. But people's stories. Eleanor said 4 years ago, a dear mentor and my boss died from COVID, and 4 more friends and loved ones. Virtual funerals, wiping down our groceries when we could get them. No toilet paper. Waiting 6 months for a new fridge. Unemployment sky high. Food lines, freezer trucks because the morgues were overflowing. Brain drain as experienced RNs retired or died, as did doctors. It was hell. I mean, and everybody it's almost like those memories you don't want to dredge up, but oh my God. Right?
Of course. I think what we need to remember is 4 years ago, we were losing 9/11 worth of Americans a day.
A day.
Years ago, unemployment was at 14.8%. 4 years ago, Donald Trump is on tape telling Bob Woodward that he knew it was a deadly airborne virus, but he has to downplay it. He has to lie to the American people. And as soon as they found out 4 years ago next month that it was primarily affecting African Americans, that's when they shifted to reopen America. Before 100,000 had died, they were already saying reopen America because Donald Trump was willing to sacrifice the lives of everyone who votes for him. Remember Easter Sunday 2020? Fill the pews. Fill the pews. Same
it's going to be an Easter miracle.
Yeah, that same week he's on tape telling Woodward he knows it's an air. Easter is supposed to be about coming back from the dead, not sending people to it. But that's why last night's speech was all about the contrast. I mean, it's madness or democracy. It's not apples and oranges. It's apples and flaming globs of Satan's vomit. That's the choice.
You know what? Sir, you are a wordsmith. As America's poet laureate. Weary warrior mom. I can't get enough of these, John. 4 years ago, there were people in the country suggesting that older people were expendable. Some of this you forget. Right? 4 years ago, I hugged my kids and grandkids for what would be the last time for 2 years. 4 years ago, I couldn't buy toilet paper, masks, or hand sanitizer. 4 years ago, I lived in fear that I would lose a loved one to COVID. 4 years ago, a moron stood at a podium and lied to America about what we were facing. 4 years ago, America was left completely devoid of leadership during a pandemic. I mean, I don't think I've ever felt so energized after. I mean, I gotta say, patriotically by Biden's speech, and then comedically, by what's her name, Katie Britt.
That's her.
God,
Ridgely's mom
has officially endorsed the Sexy Liberal Save the World tour.
Yes, she has. Yes, she has. And 4 years ago, we didn't have Katie Britt, so maybe we're not doing that much better. But listen, as much as I love a good Douglas Sirk melodrama on Vicodin, that was just wow. Can I just give Katie Britt some advice?
Yes.
If you're telling a horror story about cartel sex trafficking and everybody's laughing anyway, maybe you're not good at this. If Tommy Tuberville is the smart one in Alabama now, maybe you're not good at this. Good God, Alabama.
I thought at least she would end with "and scene." And now I like to do my comedic monologue. It's one of those, like, can Saturday Night Live even parody it? It's just as...
No, they just do it as it is.
Yeah, you don't need to. I mean, you don't need to. And listen, I can't wait for my kid to learn about Katie Britt during Dead Inside Women's History Month, because that's going to...
Why was I not surprised her mom owned a dance studio? I remember my mom said, if you want to fame, you got to start paying in sweat, and it starts here.
Hey, there are parts
I'm
of
a dancer,
Alabama.
damn it.
There are parts of Alabama where she's legally a member of Mensa, so watch what you say. All right.
I thought she was going to
listen,
start doing
between
lines
her-
from like, what's the Showgirls, and also like striptease.
I'm a dancer.
and Flashdance.
Between her and that lunatic in North Carolina, who's going to be the Republican nominee.
Oh my
for
God.
governor.
Oh my God.
Oh, they're going to drive turnout in all 50 states. These two people need to be so famous.
I did my straw poll with my sister Mary, who lives in North Carolina.
yeah.
I just called her. She picked up the phone. I'm like, what the is going on in North Carolina? What?
Yeah.
It's because also the first Jewish candidate is running against a Holocaust denier, which is already just
Right.
magical. And we were like, my sister and I were like, what would our Nuremberg prosecutor dad think about this version of the Republican Party? What? Maybe that'll be the first debate. The Holocaust happened. No, it didn't. Yes, it did. No, it didn't.
I think Joe Biden achieved the impossible last night. He made millions of people excited for the next 8 months of campaigning. And they're trying to say that he was angry now. If I was Joe Biden, I'd be furious. You guys tried to have an insurrection and you spent 4 years showing pictures of my son's penis. I'd be furious all the time. If I was advising Biden, he would end every speech by saying, "And you bitches never get to touch Medicare." He gave us all the
Listen,
anger we needed last night.
We have to, we have to be big enough to say Marjorie Taylor Greene was only the second craziest GOP bitch of the night, and Lauren Boebert did look classy by comparison. She didn't give one hand job the entire speech.
Oh,
Very good.
I mean, you know,
Got to give credit where credit's due. Could I have my sexy liberal
the bar
music?
is low.
Yes. Could I give my sexy liberal music, please? I am bringing you, people of Earth, John Fugelsang, Hal Sparks, Frangela, God knows a constellation of celebrity guests on panel, as we always do. We're kicking it off April 13th in Minneapolis. And then April 27th, Philadelphia, and on we go. Madison, Albuquerque, Seattle, Denver, Boston, Atlanta, New York, Chicago, Portland, Durham, North Carolina, Phoenix, Arizona, Kansas City, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. Oh, my God. And as we said, John, if tickets continue to sell like they've been going crazy, we will try and add more cities. So just go to sexyliberal.com. We're very, very excited, John. Very excited.
Well, I'm excited because I'm so codependent with you, Stephanie. I'm finally going to have a lot of time with you this year. So thank you.
Yes.
Me too,
Oh,
you.
thanks, you.
I'm going to koala on your hunky ass for the first several cities. Not let you go. I love you. Goodbye.